Move, dog.
All right, so we're live. Let me do this. Hey, everybody, don't adjust your Twitch. Don't adjust your Twitch. Don't be shocked. Yes, there is a black dude that is running the chat tonight, y'all. My brother is in celebration with his family tonight, so I'm doing team takeover. Lord, have mercy. What's gonna happen tonight? How you doing, everybody? We are in the Esports EDU chat. I am Bradford Harris, EdTech Tinker on Twitter. I am the coordinator of digital innovation in Houston, Texas. NASEF Scholastic Fellow. My goodness, what else am I? I am also the director. I am the reverend of esports, I guess. And I am also the director of learning for TechSev. And to my right, and I put her in the right window.
I'm in my corner. I'm Carrie Linden. I go by the Chuck Noju on Twitter. I am the communication specialist for Liminal Esports and Snowbright Studio. I man our K-12 esports news website and other things.
And we got some special guests. I feel like I got like my two bosses here. I feel like I'm being
Other way
watched.
around. This is like Aladdin and Genie. This is like the way it goes. Rub the lamp and we appear.
Right.
Fix your madness.
I'm gonna start to down here. I don't know if my fingers are the right way. I was gonna say the dude with the glasses, but that doesn't help either.
Because we all look alike. Is that what you're saying?
Wow. Wow.
Says the guy wearing glasses.
Wow.
Apparently it's a gendered thing.
Carrie, I'm so sorry that you're here with all these men.
That's okay. I can hear. Here, we can even it out. There we go.
Oh, I love it. To my bottom right corner, who do we got?
But I don't know. On my screen, it's me. Hi, everybody. Kevin Brown, Esports Program Specialist, Orange County, California Department of Ed, and NASEF.
All right. And last but not least, we got, I'm not pointing my fingers. He knows he's last but not least.
What's up, everyone? Jarrell Batak, Esports Scholastic Instructional Coach and Director of the Scholastic Fellow Program for NASEF, also out of the Orange County Department of Education. What's up, y'all?
Awesome. So I put on the chat that my friend gave me the keys to the Porsche. And so Lord knows what's going to happen. But so we got our special guest here. Not going to sugarcoat it, but I'm going to still keep it clean. We know there's a lot that happened these past couple of weeks with with you guys. And there were some lovely discussions in our esports circle. But what I want to really talk about, though, is at the end of the day, we're reflecting towards the end of May. We've talked about a lot of stuff, Carrie, here. Everything from toxicity to to what programs should be a part of esports, to you name it, we talked about it. But at the end of the day, what I want to talk about is, for all of us here in the chat, what do you feel like you should look for in your esports program in 2021, 22? What are some things that we feel like we want to look for as educators? That's what I'm tossing out there. And I'll tell you my why at the end. And Jarrell knows where I'm going with this because he cheated. We had a conversation earlier today. But I'm not going to tell my why yet. I just want to know from everybody in the group, what should we be looking for now? We're quiet.
Well, I mean, it's not a small question. I mean, I know it's tied into things that we've talked about, but it's not a small one. I think I have a few things tied into what we talked about last week. I would like to see industry norms for transparency, and I mean that in a sense that, like, so if I'm reaching out as a representative from Liminal and I want information about your organization, like what I get back now is often really vague. So I think it's really helpful that we start tracking, demographics. We start identifying how we're, calculating our numbers, where we're getting our data from, and actually sort of like standardizing, what's sort of this annual report, so to speak, look like. So when somebody does reach out to you, or people do have questions, or something comes up, like has come up for various organizations in the last couple of weeks, there's sort of an expectation of, oh, well, we track this information, like we report stuff this way. So I feel like, creating a set of norms around that is great. We're not the Wild West anymore. Like we've been around long enough that I think that we can start functioning in professional ways. And that does include, more transparency. I think the other thing for me is really pushing the diversity and inclusion. I can't tell you how many times I'm in conversations or I'm lurking in an esports Discord and somebody will make a comment about, women in gaming, and the response from the men in the esports EDU community is still extremely dismissive. Right. They can do art. They can run your social media. Like, we have to stop that. Especially the guys. Like, if you're leading your program, these should not be the things that are shouldn't be coming out of your mouth. And I think the other thing that popped on my radar this morning, through one of the news stories that I shared with one of the groups on Twitter is acknowledging gender diversity. I think that's something that people can't ignore anymore. So if your organization doesn't have pronoun use, you need to think about how if you're genderizing your tournaments, you need to know ahead of time how you're going to handle that.
Absolutely.
Because some really gross things are happening as we start to roll out these women's only tournaments, and people are getting excluded that shouldn't be, and they're having to go through some traumatic stuff around that. So I think things are changing, and we need to be ahead of that, especially with students. If you're pros, okay, you're pros, but these are our kids, and it is going to affect student body, because kids do transition in middle school and high school and elementary school. So we need to be aware of how we're handling gender diversity and just diversity and inclusion in general. Those are my big three. Right.
So Jarrell, I'm going to come to you and
sure.
Well, I'm coming to you and Kevin, but I don't want you to speak on behalf of NASEF or your any other organization you're affiliated with. I want you to speak on behalf of just Jarrell, and I want Kevin to speak on behalf of Kevin. Even though you may have your names tagged, I'm asking you all the same question. What should we be looking for in 2021, 2022?
I agree with Carrie. I agree with the inclusion, accessibility, right? Because those are some of the issues overall that we've seen over the course of the last year, even through the pandemic, right? That kind of exacerbated a lot of that. Yeah. I think for me, just seeing some of the outcomes, especially working with all the fellows community, specifically because we've now been able to cross borders with that community. those opportunities that are international, not just for the educators, but for the students, because I'm seeing so much value, not just, in just the advocacy of this idea that we're creating unique opportunities for students to connect, but also with just this idea of like students learning about the different cultures through this, right? They're learning about how are our cultures different. And I'll plug a couple ideas that have emerged just from the educators in the community is, what if we just built a shared Minecraft server and created things that represented where we're from and then talk about that, so even going beyond the competitive aspect, I really lean heavy back on the game-based learning aspect of how we can use games to cultivate connection. So I will say that that's definitely something that I'm interested in, is how can I connect, educators across our global community to provide those unique opportunities. So that's kind of where I'm at the moment.
All right, Mr. K, your thoughts.
I suppose what comes to me and what we're doing now in this interesting crucible time with NASEF is what we wrestle with on the education and training committee that I head up, is this idea that we want to build capacity. I think that schools should look forward to assistance, but not the way you think. The NASEF bus doesn't roll up at your schoolyard and we drop off a pallet of stuff for you. That's still the thought in many cases. Hey, they're going to come and save us. They're going to give us stuff and we're going to do stuff because you gave us stuff. The things don't matter. Right now, federal government is dumping money into states, into school districts. We're trying to teach teachers where to go to get it. It's already there. The use of that funding, again, what I teach my 13-year-old, money isn't the thing to have because it's money. You use it because it's a tool. It gets you something that you want to do, wants to achieve, where you want to go. So if I can show you how to build capacity, then I think we've solved a mission. I want to teach teachers, don't rely on NASEF or anybody to give you curriculum. Don't wait for me to make the next big thing that you're going to plug and play. Do it yourself. You're doing it already with your kids. We asked people in group today, so what have you got in terms of an ask? We want to build something. An ask came to us and it's sitting in our group or percolating. And somebody raised their hand and says, you mean it looks like this? And there's a preformed, ready to go widget that we all stood there with eyes as big and go, holy cuts, that's the way we're going to go. People are building things. That's where we want to go. So this idea that no more excuses. We're rural. We're inner city. We're affluent. We're nowhere near affluent. There's a way to build capacity and be mighty in where you are with what you got. We can show that way, but there's that need of the coalition of the willing. So many times, and I'm a teacher myself, teachers throw their hands up. I can't do it. Somebody's got to come and do it for me. You don't need saving. You need a swim coach so you can swim yourself. So we're looking to do that. That's what I think you should look forward to, is working with a partner who wants to help you build your own capacity, help you get mighty on your terms.
I think the other thing, tying into, the crucible that you're talking about, I think we need to get to a point where we realize that partnerships are going to happen. It's going to happen, and the knee-jerk reaction needs to stop. I feel like the esports community has become extremely reactionary and very territorial. I know there's a couple posts about gatekeeping, and as educators, do we need to vet everything? Absolutely, 100%. That's the job of an educator, but that's not the same thing as having a knee-jerk reaction. When you feel that, when you have that gut reaction, take a step back, write down your questions, let it sit, come back when you don't have that feeling anymore, write down the second round of questions, and then start figuring out who you need to touch base with to ask those questions to get your answers. I feel like we need to normalize that moving forward, because there are going to be a lot of things that are going to happen that are going to be potentially scary for the EDU community. And if we can't be reasonable, and if we can't, model good, responsible behavior as to like processing, we're going to be in trouble. Like, and we're potentially going to lose out on some great programs. So I think, something we definitely need to work on in the coming year.
Yeah. There's a group I used to use their text a lot for teaching back in my other incarnations before esports and teaching proper. And they talk about a group called Vital Smarts, and they teach a topic called crucial conversations. How do you hold a conversation when both sides are polarized? There's a lot at stake and everything's flaring. This idea that the mind, in the absence of facts, will make up stories to fill the gaps. And I'm seeing that in our own community. We don't know, but we think that we're entitled to know. And if you don't tell me now, there's something clandestine happening. So let me smooth that over with what I think should fill that gap. And then we've all seen the stories go crazy. Jarrell and I popped into Esports EDU a couple of days ago, and it was like walking into a bar fight.
Yep.
And, everybody's like, where's the NASA people? Where are they? They're gone. What's going on? Excuse us. We're right
here. Yeah.
And you could ask it's a screenshot. You can ask me a question. You can DM me. Most of you have my mobile phone number. I know you do because you call me at all hours. But again, let's, like you just said, Carrie, let's sit with a batch of questions. Let's ruminate for a second to make sure the emotions come down, but the wisdom comes up, and then refine those questions and then find the fact keepers. Yeah. Go to the sources of truth. Don't go to a website. Don't wiki it. Don't call your friend and dial it. Somebody else who thinks they know. I know a guy. We all know a guy. That's how we got in trouble in the first place.
We do. Yeah. But I think it's also important to be okay when things don't line up with you anymore.
Absolutely.
Like, as a gamer, I've been in situations where I've,
Sea of Thieves.
I've played titles and been immensely devoted to them, and something has happened. It's like, hey, you know what? I still respect your organization. I still love all the people that work there, but until certain things get solved, I'm not going to be participating.
Right.
And I think, as educators, we have that same thing. Like, you might use a product, or you might be part of an organization, and they may make a choice or a decision that's the right decision for them, but it's the wrong decision for you. And that's not something to be mad at. That's just that's a parting of ways. And maybe everything will come back together in the future. Maybe it won't, but, needing to get to a point where we're mature enough to go, okay, this no longer aligns with, my needs. So I'm going to go find something else. And
that's right.
That's okay.
Yeah. That's life.
I agree with all that. And there's a lot of stuff that I heard all three of you said. It was, and not in a negative way, it was very positive. You, mission, vision, all around the center of what this is all about. And the reason why I asked this question was because with all of the hype that Kevin and Jarrell were going through, and I've seen it all, and no, I'm not going to post all that stuff, and Carrie, you've seen it too.
Yeah.
And I've gotten the texts and conversations and whatnot. I just took a step back and I just watched and listened, because as all of y'all know, I'm not new to this game, no matter what space it's in. This isn't new for me. But what I will say is that throughout this process, and this has nothing to do with what happened with what's going on with NASA, HSCL, whatever, is that there were some things that I was going through with my own initiative. And Jarrell knows what I'm talking about, because I've been open about, I was open to him about it. And with people coming in and trying to, I'm not going to say infiltrate, but trying to put something in without my prior knowledge. And I had choice words, and I'll just be honest with those who are listening, who are in my area. This is just me being honest. But that had nothing to do with the organization who was trying to come in and do what was right for the students. And so what I had to do was I had to take a step back and think, and everybody knows, and James always laughs in kids, but he's true. He always says, like Bradford and Kevin knows too, you've been doing this for 3 years, 4 years, 10 years. There's a reason why, somebody's about to pop up in here. Hey! There's a reason why people say, Kevin and Jay said, there's a reason why you took the time the way you did it. And I'm not going to lie, that for a brief moment, I lost that because I didn't want to say it was like, oh, this is my mind. But I had to reflect on, okay, Bradford, why are you in this space? What is the reason why you are here? It was never for Esports EDU. It was never for NASEF. It was never for TechSef. It was never for any of those things. At the end of the day, and I thought about this when I drove home, it was really for the two kids that you don't see that are in my house right now. My two kids of color that played games sitting next to daddy when they were little, and they wanted to be next to their dad and play games and be like dad. And then they grew up and they went way surpassed dad, and dad is taking their ideas and wanting to put that into the students that look like me.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, and Kevin knows this because he's seen me in the space asking, what are you going to do for people like me? Mm-hmm. And nobody never asked that. I never asked, hey, NASEF, hey, HSEL, hey, whoever, what are you doing for people like me? It's my job to make sure that whatever my vision is for esports, that I'm supporting children who look like me so that they can be in that space. So just like what Carrie said, if the organizations don't align with my vision and mission, then that's okay. I can walk away, but I'm not going to walk away in anger. I'm going to walk away so I can reflect, and so those companies can reflect, and we can have dialogue and conversation. And that's how it needs to be.
Everybody's stuttering here. Oh no, did we lose Bradford?
Uh-oh.
Hopefully we'll get Bradford back.
Do we all
Angelique?
disappear if that happens?
We can't hear you, Angelique.
Yeah, no audio coming from Angelique.
All the tech issues just roll in all at once.
Samton says Jim is sabotaging. He is.
What about now?
Now
Okay.
you're good. Now
Okay. Sorry. That's been my life all day today. So
The big red on button. That's okay.
oh my, that's it. I'm out of here. Well, Bradford's gone. Hey guys.
Yeah.
Blink.
I feel like I was partly tuning in and out, listening to you guys as I was like furiously running around my house. So I caught most of what you were saying. I apologize for my lateness. Bradford was like on a roll.
I know.
The Reverend rants. When the rant starts, you just get out of the way. You grab a seat and popcorn.
Yeah,
That's it. But no, he's there. This is something we were talking about earlier today in a meeting about going to game devs. It's not about NASEF or anybody else trying to say, hey, what are the games we're going to play this season? What's good? What do kids like? It's also now being able to go to game devs and say, we represent a larger and more colorful swath of constituents than you all are planning. So when I go on to Chromebook, because I'm often forced to do so in middle and elementary schools, and I'm making curriculum and I want to tie gameplay into it, and I can only be this skin tone and blonde hair, blue-eyed, that doesn't reflect the kids for whom that I want to play. You got to do better. And right now, but this is taking too long. But no, we can't. Our designers in another country, we can't do this. I don't want to hear this. I want to hear that there's a partnership. And so I think we're getting bigger. And maybe this is part of what people need to hear about with HSCL and NASEF coming together and being able to share resources and take the two sides of where they're mighty. There is a competition stream that gets kids fired up. And there is an educational stream that gets teachers and kids and parents fired up. And putting this together, industry looks and says, damn, I guess now we can't ignore the fact that people really get where we should be meeting in the middle. And now we have to do better. We have a bully pulpit in the best of ways to say, make us something, so that Liminal isn't just an indie shop, right? It shouldn't have to be something that people help kickstart to put together, it should be, this is on the docket. We need things like this because our kids need things like this.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, we've all had conversations in the past about, wouldn't it be great to be able to have conversations with developers and say, hey, this game is great, but it's totally unfriendly for schools. But the potential here is wonderful. And if you made these 5 changes, we would absolutely embrace it. And, you know, I think
right up there. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Being able to have those conversations, like, you know, and there are definitely organizations that do have those conversations. Liminal is definitely one that's out there, you know, talking to people. You've got, you know, you've got all the other big leagues and orgs, but you know, you're right. Like the more there can be that unified voice, the louder that voice is and the longer it can carry. And that's what I'm saying. Like if we can come up with industry standards for things like that helps, because then it's everybody saying, no, this is what we need. You know, we need this. And that does impact, you know, it does impact potentially developers. And I think, you know, when we were running Mischief League, you know, part of our thing was that community driven esports and using small titles. I think it's been nice to see more organizations through the whole pandemic start to play smaller games, or start to play, you know, some of the non-pro titles, because you've got there are a lot of great indie studios that produce awesome games. And if there was, you know, if there was funding, if there was attention, like there's so many ways you can give love to those developers to help them. You help them, they're able to grow, and they're able to sort of, you know, you develop this reciprocal relationship where you know, everybody's getting something out of it. But we need, you know, to, I don't want to say stop thinking like gamers, but kind of like, you know, that knee-jerk toxicity that's really rampant in how we deal with developers and how we deal with the man needs to change. Like we need to start realizing there is a two-way street and a relationship that forms. And if you're respectful and you're clear about what your expectations are and what you need, you know, a dialogue can form and actual change can potentially happen.
That might actually surprise them. I suppose that they also brace for impact, right? Expecting backlash every time a title comes out. So, you know, haters gonna hate. Somebody's gonna hate the way it looks or touch or feels. My community wasn't in any way involved. Whatever the thing is, somebody's always going to find something wrong in everything, right? Go back to Lincoln. You can't please everybody all the time. But if it is an honest attempt, and knowing that no product is perfect, but we can take it and use it perfectly, we can use it to the best of its design, then you're right, Carrie. Then we start a dialogue. If we can get them to table, if we could find a magical way that, and I know we do this, for example, I know that we're on good talking terms with Blizzard. And I know that Epic, obviously we've got friends of the family, if you will, that are working there. And it's easy to have a conversation. We'd love to get back to a point where Riot actually sits at a table and doesn't look at the squinky eye. But the idea that we can help to shape, right? They put up their counsel. They say that they're listening, but are they really?
I mean, we're teaching their next generation of consumers.
I was about to say, you vote with your feet and you vote with your wallet. So again, we can pick the games that we choose. We can choose to put other games up in the leagues of the season. But again, that becomes a little bit adversarial, right? If we're not choosing your game, then I guess we're saying something. But I think this idea that sitting down and helping them actually develop, listening to we who are, I'll use the word customer, we're the end user of the product that they build. And then you're right, we're growing a generation that's eventually going to roll into the use of whatever that is that they build. Getting us involved early and letting us help guide, maybe not draw all the way, but guide the use of. Where is that a bad thing? Where would they lose anything? Sam's on. I'm going to try to read what's in the chat.
It's not a bad thing, and I think, you know, putting that pressure is needed. You know, when you look at all the titles that come out that aren't even remotely, like they're designed specifically for the male gaze and the male player. Right. And we're like, well, no, but the girls are going to play this. Like, well, no. So when do we stop and say, hey, your game is a good esports title potentially, but it's really problematic when it comes to its female representation. And, you know, until you do better, this title's kind of, we're sorry, we're not playing it. You know, going back to that conversation of what are the things that we need, I think it's fine to have those conversations and say, hey, we're backing out of this title because the developers need to actually start, you know, being thoughtful about their representation in their games, and because we service a wide variety of individuals, wanting to make sure that that representation is respectful.
He's laughing, GTA. Mr. Brown, can we have GTA? You may never.
There's
No.
so many of them.
no.
There's so many of them. I get press releases and I just sit there and I'm like, wow,
Yep.
okay, you know,
Well,
yeah, that's armor. Okay, yeah, sure. Whatever.
So in terms of what we talked, so for those coming a little bit later into the conversation, we started this off with this idea, and Carrie, you said it about transparency. If organizations who are in this esports ecosphere, if we could be more transparent, wouldn't it be interesting if we posted the games we're going to play in the season, fall season, spring season, you've got the whole palette there. A question Jarrell and I often get when we're talking to administrators and parent groups and we do info nights is, why do y'all play those games? Wouldn't it be interesting if we would post, we're playing these games every season, here's the reason why. These are the pros, and if we didn't pick a title, these were the cons. And we actually put out there the reason why a game didn't make the cut, because, and not to call anybody out, but because there was objectification, because there wasn't a colorful array, I love this new term, a colorful array of characters so that everybody gets swept into that. Anybody and everybody. That's a Jarrell thing. He's up here, my thing. Let's be colorful characters. I love this. But so we didn't see all minds, all kinds. Call that out and say, that's the reason you didn't make the cut. Love to have had it. Kids love it. Kids want to consume it. Didn't meet ethically, morally, North Star, where and why we wanted to go there. See you next year. And that sends a very clear signal. I don't know. Is that adversarial if we're posting flags and colors? Why we do what we do? What do you think?
I don't think that's adversarial. I think that's transparency. We're educators. It's like having the conversation when an organization pops in and they're like, hey, we'd like to sponsor you. And you go to their landing page and it's all online esports gambling and pot. Like, no, I'm sorry. Like we could definitely use the money. Partnership would be great, but this doesn't align with, a public school situation. Like,
brought to you by Vape, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
like we can't do that. So no, I think having those honest conversations are fine. Will they go down well? I don't know. People tend to be offended instead of just, stopping back and being like, okay, this doesn't, this isn't the partnership. But yeah, no, it's transparency. It's fine. Definitely sounds like a conflict of interest. Yeah, I know. Schools can't be partners.
Yeah.
But you see, so many. We've all been DM'd by organizations that are backed by that, or their parent company is that. Mm-hmm. We've all had it, and we've had those conversations, and we've told them, like, hey, look, if you want to venture into the educational esports space, you've got to break these ties. This can't be what's funding your company. It just can't. It works in the pro scene. It doesn't work, in the EDU space. Like there is a difference between the two.
He's back.
Welcome back.
I guess Twitch didn't like what the black man was saying.
You were on you were on a roll.
It was really good. And I forgot what I was saying.
What?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Your kids looking at dad building a system where kids like me are playing. That's where
trust me, I remember. I haven't forgotten. And I'm just playing that I didn't forget. But yes, my network did crash, and I guess the network and/or Twitch doesn't like black people. I'm just kidding. What I was saying is that you have to know your purpose, and you have to know your why. And my purpose is no matter if there's a NASEF, HSCL, whatever it is, they can come. You guys can come and go. I love Kevin. I love Jarrell. I love everybody that's in here. But at the end of the day, I have my program, and I'm building a program. And that's what matters. And my supervisor looking at me going, what are we going to do? Not in a bad way, but what matters. And if the organizations don't align with my mission and vision of serving my Black and brown children, and let me also add LGBTQ plus and all that with that vision, then I do have to walk away, and that's okay. But don't walk away in anger. Don't walk away in frustration, because what that's going to do is if I don't walk away in anger and frustration and say, you know what, this is not going to align with what I want to do, that's going to question the companies going, okay, well, why is this person choosing to leave? And then that's when you decide, now let's have a conversation, because this is what I think, A, B, C, D, E, and you don't align with what I'm trying to do. Some of the people that are in this space are big ballers in this space. Let's just be honest. And if you decide to raise a big stink and do whatever it is that you're going to do, then the companies aren't really going to care what you think, and they're just going to move on. But if you say, you know, I'm going to peacefully walk out, that's when they'll say, you know what, let's have a conversation. Why are you walking out? Well, let me tell you why I'm walking out, because I see this, and this. And if you decide that you want to go on this path, not a problem. But for me and for the students that I serve, and for the teachers that I serve, and for their social and emotional well-being, I got to go this route. So if you're wanting to have a conversation about what next steps should be, then let's have that conversation. And truth be told, I've had those conversations with said individual, and Kevin and Jarrell, you know who I'm talking about. I've had that conversation, and it was a healthy conversation. It wasn't out of malice or love. It was just, here's what I see from my perspective, because I know that person, and I'll just be honest, that person is in pain. That person is hurt. That person is trying to figure out what to do next. And I just said, this is my perspective. This is what I see. This is what I've learned being I'll just call it a director and a leader, and having to make choices. Mm-hmm. Educators that are listening to this, you cannot get attached to one particular thing. You just can't. Danielle says it best. You can't. You don't stay married to a product. You always should be dating. Always date.
Yeah, that's great advice. I think when you're talking about, you know, leaving and not leaving angry, like what you're talking about is being able to have that postmortem, being able to leave room for education on both ends. You know, that's how organizations are going to grow when they're looking and they're saying, okay, we've lost, you know, 5 organizations for the same reason. Well, hey, maybe this is really important to, you know, this educational community, or maybe this is really important to this demographic. You know, it's really easy to be overlooked, you know, if you're not that sort of majority representation, and it's not always intentional. You know, a lot of the times it's completely unintentional, unidentified bias that exists, and it's not until it gets called out in a polite way that you realize it. When we start throwing words and getting heated, you just put everybody's defenses get up, and then nobody's listening anymore. It's you know, it's attack, defend, and you get combat. You don't get progress, you don't get growth, you don't get understanding. So, you know, making sure that no, you don't. So, you know, I love what you're saying, Bradford, because it is about, you know, it's about being able to one, boundaries and maintaining, you know, your vision and your goals, but also respecting each other enough to be able to grow through that and have, you know, good conversations that hopefully allow for growth on both ends. I'm going to have to pop out in a second for sports.
And bye, Carrie. And she's popping out and she's letting us know, unlike me.
I have to go.
No, I'm going to also say this. I think we need to realize that in the month of May for educators is the month of change.
Mayday.
Yeah. That's what we need to call it. We need to call it Mayday. And let's just be honest. When May 1st hits, we're going to get prepared for Cinco de Mayo and all that kind of stuff. But be prepared, because something's about to go down in your district. Something is about to go down in your school. Something that is going to be earth shattering, that is going to rock your world, and you are either going to like it or you are going to hate it. And how are you going to process that? And I've learned that now reflecting on everything that has gone down in this month, not just with esports, just with everything, you have to start taking that step and going, okay, here's May, what's about to happen and how am I going to deal with it and what are my next steps? Just know when May comes, it is May Day. So next year, I'm just going to wear that shirt. It's May Day. Get ready for the change. What are you going to do?
Juan Pablo says he's scared. I'm scared too. What's going to happen? There's been enough change for me. I'm ready to not have any more.
It could be big. It could be big or small. It doesn't matter. Just know that May is the month of change.
May is the month of change. That's all we're doing is having meetings about changes for next year. That's all I've been doing.
Can we just get to next year? Can we all graduate, put the mic down, turn the computer off? Can we have a summer? No summer school. Can we just walk away? I think everything Jarrell and I are planning, we just want to leave July alone. Just educators, go away, go frolic somewhere, leave us alone. Just like go somewhere, go outside. That thing, the bright thing in the sky, go walk under it for a while. Just let's leave the teaching thing because everybody needs a collective break at this point.
Unfortunately,
nobody's got the energy.
Unfortunately, schools beg to differ.
I love that, Sam.
Mandated break for everyone, I wish.
That's right. We're signing a deal with our friends in the Bahamas. They would love to have us all come and visit. That would be a cool thing. I was telling Carrie, let's go do Sea of Thieves in the Bahamas. Pirates with pirates on pirate ships. Come on, who's with me?
I mean, I just want to just lay down and go to sleep. That's all. I mean, it doesn't cost money to lay down and go to sleep. And I just need
sleep
people,
when we're dead. We don't do that.
I just need somebody to say, you know what? Go to sleep, and I'm not going to bother you for the next 3 weeks. Not a problem. No emails. No, Bradford, I need to do this. Yeah, it is. It is lies. It is lies.
You get the microchip. It's direct now. Anyway.
Wow.
That sounds like, Sam, that sounds like a kid's book right there. Bradford needs a nap. Chapter 1. Bradford came into cranky that day. That's it.
Well, unfortunately, Sam, I don't get one because my work has just started. It has just started. And like I said, everybody knows I've been taking this slow and steady. Now, like it's starting to get real with the initiatives that are about to go down. Now it's like, okay, Bradford, what you about to do? Because we got this to go down. We're about to go live. We're about to go on blast. We're about to do this. No, I'm not going district wide with anything, but it's now I got the right people at the right table. I got the Angeliques. I got the Kevins. I got the Jarrells. I got people that are watching and are supporting what I do. And Angelique, you got people that the same way too. Kevin, you got people. Jarrell, you got people. Everybody, it now wants to see what's next. I'm not saying that just for me. It's everybody that's in this room. It's everybody that's in this chat. It's everybody that's not available or to speak right now. We've seen what esports can do in a pandemic, and even administrators have seen, wow, okay, so you guys haven't stopped to a degree. You guys haven't stopped. You've seen what's possible. The sports teams themselves have stopped, but you guys have kept going, and you've invited more people into this space, and you've talked about equity and inclusion, and you're having tournaments, and you're doing this for lack of a better term, like for less than a dime. So what is going to happen now? And administrators are knocking on our door. Hey, how do we do this? Now I'm listening because everybody else has shut down and given up, but you haven't. You haven't. What's your secret sauce? And I think the secret sauce is, even though we are in here very passionate and we've been angry about this and that, we're all in here wanting to see something thrive, and we're here to prove something that, hey, just because we've been knocked down, we're not going to stay knocked down. We're going to keep going, and we're going to prove to you that this program, no matter if it's Angelique's program, Kevin's, Jarrell's, or mine, or Carrie's, or James, this still does work, and there is possibilities in this, and it doesn't have to be anybody on the technical side, or NASEF, or TechSef, or ELA, or just a regular teacher. Anybody can do this if you have the support.
Mm-hmm. And I think the shutdown has helped us in a sense, because at least at my school, because everything was shut down, I was the only club that was running, getting kids that have never stepped foot on campus connected to school. The only one. So like, I'm one of the few clubs that are on campus. Well, I'm still online, but the few clubs that are running now where freshmen are coming, and I've met these freshmen in this like digital space, and they have that connection to school. So now that we're coming back, they've been begging me to like run something on campus, and they're like, well, you should do this big event and this and that and this and that. I'm like, okay, well, that takes a lot of time and money and effort and like thought process and all of that to do. And they're like, well, could you just do it? And I'm like, well, no, like, and if you want to run this big event, if I'm running ASB, I'm getting paid to run big events. But if I'm running, a big tournament at school, we deserve to get that funded, and us funded, and our time funded, and our knowledge funded. But I think it's definitely helped us in a sense where our administrators are realizing like, this is something that can continue to run whether or not we're in school. It does look different, like what you were saying, Bradford. Like my club looks completely different from what it did a year ago or a year and a half ago. But in ways, it's gotten better, because now I have both of those avenues. I have the kids who come in person to play games. I have the kids who are in our Discord community who have created that place of support, and these freshmen who have made friends with sophomores, juniors, and seniors who they probably never would have met. And now it's become this like whole inside and outside school community where the kids, have somebody to connect to who have common interests. So it's almost better than just like a club at lunch, because the kids play games with each other outside of school. Like when Jarrell and I did that connection with the David's students in Mexico, like I'm pretty sure my student still talks to them, like they're friends now. So It's just really cool how many opportunities we have. And I hope that admin, like I know people are saying in chat, like it's free sports, like you're not getting paid. I hope the admin realize all this money that's getting poured into the schools right now for extracurricular activities. I hope that part of that goes to esports and community building gaming programs at their schools.
We'll because I think the kids, I think this gives opportunity. I've seen it in my circle. I've seen it in all of y'all circles where the kids are like, I really want this. How do I make this happen? I can't say that, and I'm not downplaying it. I can't say that for the bands and the footballs and whatnot. But there's just something about this community to say, hey, what can we do to get this started? Ms. Giannis, hey, are you on it? Are you on it? And you're like, wait a minute, come on. I know I'm just a teacher. I still got a grade. I got to do this. But they're like, wait a minute. Hey, I can run the term. I can run the Discord. I can do this. They're just like hungry for it. And they're not hungry to get on and play the game. They're hungry for the community. That's what I see. They're hungry to just learn more. The game, sure, that's great. But like even with your stuff, Angelique, the fact that they did Fortnite and they did it with Fahrenheit 451. I mean, that's an extension of esports. They wanted to do that because of what you built Among Us. That's an extension of your esports program, and they wanted to be a part of that. So that's why I feel like the students want to see these programs thrive, because they see where this can go beyond just I'm playing the game. I want to see what Miss Angelique is going to do in her classroom with the creative mode of Fortnite. I want to see what Jarrell and Kevin are going to do with Minecraft. It's not,
now's
they know
the
now.
time for it. Now's the time for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, government funding is out there under the buzzwords of, right, learning loss mitigation, credit recovery, learning to improve and shore up ELA, math, science, STEM skills. There is money that has been freed up. And again, we all know that we need lab space, we need equipment, we need these things. Jarrell and I can let anybody have a slide deck that we prepared and information to help arm teachers. And this is nationwide. This government, this ESSER fund, ESSER money is out there. Teach you, show you, line you up how to go and ask administration for money that they already have and are looking for ways. What do we do with this? How do we fund a program that's going to tick all these boxes, get our kids integrated, get them, what's the word I want? Engaged, really bringing them back in, because this is the hardest thing. Now you've got as Angelique, as you said before, you've got a whole cadre of students. You've got a whole year that have only ever been, has only been virtual. Yeah. They don't know. So getting together is going to be ooky to start with. How do we get back face to face? But then you've got a community. You guys love each other when we're like this, when we're virtual. Let's take that next step and make it, it's real now, three-dimensional and flesh. And then how does that feel in a room, in a space, right? And then all the looks and the smells and all the things that come with an esports club getting back together. But point is that there is money, there's funding, and now is the time to raise your hand and say, I have something. JP, I'm looking at you in the chat going, I know the administrators in Orange, California. I run battle loggers at those people all the time. Titanic, 0. Icebergs, 2. Well, except for the fact that we got things running at your school, so that's like a half. Just ding my hull. But we got to do that. We got to keep raising the hand and saying, I have a program. I have a way. I have a thing. Bradford, to your point, and my kids are begging me for it. They will do the work. They're asking for STEM skills. They're asking to do math and crunch numbers to run teams. What kid in their right mind asks I want to be the data analyst and crunch the numbers and tell you why this is going to work? Chain those kids up, love them for this kind of thing. So we can help arm for that. For those not in the know, we can get you up on blocks and get you going. But for those in the know, don't sit on your hands and feel like you're powerless. Now is that time to stand up and say, I got something.
I think a lot of people are just like, I don't want to say scared, but nervous. Like I know, like if I were coming into this as a teacher who wanted to do it and had no background in gaming, nothing, right? And I just knew my students loved it and, they're asking for it. I wouldn't know. And we've gone back to this before in our conversations, like they wouldn't know where to start. And I think what a lot of people need to understand is you don't have to jump out the gate and run a Fortnite tournament, a Smash tournament. You don't have to make a Minecraft server or a full Discord community. Like you could literally just set up a Tetris competition at your school. Like my students love playing Puyo Puyo Tetris. Like I don't know if you've heard of it. It's hilarious. But like Tetris, or take your old N64 and run a Mario Kart tournament. And the kids, even though they've never touched an N64, they'll be like, I'm down, and they'll come play. And I think, for a lot of the teachers at my school and the admin at my school, they didn't understand any of the games that we were playing. But when they walk in and they see those kids playing the game, they're like, oh, like, wow, look at how much fun everyone's having. Look at all these different kinds of kids getting along. Look at everyone sharing and communicating and telling each other what to do. I'm working on
set all this up. Those kids did. Exactly.
They did. They'll do it. And
that's right.
One of the things that I'm working on setting up for our school in the fall, because we're going to be coming back full time with full amount of students, hopefully. Well, we'll see. Who knows? But they want to do some team building stuff and have different teachers run team building stuff. I'm like, cool. I'm going to do a blindfolded Mario Kart. You're paired with someone and one of you is blindfolded telling the other person where to go. Boom, done. You made a friend.
I love that idea.
Yeah, you made a friend. There you go. Like, and because a lot of these kids don't know anybody. They don't talk to anybody in Zoom. So how do we create things like Smash, like Super Smash, where you're like playing in a big group of people. It's just like games like that can have you communicate, or Jackbox, for example, have you communicate with people you've never met and be able to find commonalities and things in common. So it doesn't have to be a very difficult game that you know nothing about. It will be eventually.
Yep.
But
And I think with and congrats on 1 year for Fortnite Fridays, Angelique. Because I think when I think about that in particular, right? Because that project emerged in the middle of a pandemic, didn't know how to do any of it, right? You all were like just figuring it out.
I had played Fortnite like 3 times.
Exactly. And I think that speaks to this idea that you don't have to do it alone, that if you find people that are willing to do it with you and partner up, then you can learn from each other and build that up. And I mean, the fact that it's been running for a year now, that's really speaking to how you can collaborate with others to create something unique. And then what I appreciate about it too, especially hitting on the idea of the ESSER funding, is that you have documentation that you can provide when you're trying to pitch and propose for the idea of getting more money into your program, getting this idea. You have all this documentation to say, hey, look, we created an opportunity for students to connect creatively, not just with their own community, but with other communities, and then provide that to build a case and say, hey, you should provide more money for this program. So such a great idea.
I even had parents, like at the beginning of this, because at the beginning of this, when we were running Fortnite Fridays, it was like right when everybody got out of school. I think, we started in March, I think. And I just happened to look at our PTSA page on Facebook, and there was like a bunch of parents that like one parent posted, like, I just wanted to say thank you to whatever teacher is running the online gaming tournaments right now. My student is a freshman and he has like hated his high school experience up to this point, and like, just thank you for giving him something to do on a Friday night with his friends. And I'm like, wow, like
that's awesome.
And there was a bunch of parents commenting underneath it saying like, yes, my child played too. They had so much fun, and they got to be on stream and all that stuff. So it's I
think the best, I think the best learning was during this pandemic, because my actual implementation of the program was during a pandemic. I had no idea that that's how it was going to run, but I had 2 teachers that were doing it, and they did it virtually. And I was trying to figure out, well, how are you guys going to do this when you're not face to face? I mean, I knew that what was going to go down, but I just wanted to see what their thoughts were. And come to find out, at first they were pro console players, and I thought, well, I guess that's the way our program is going to be. I mean, I have no problem with that. I get it. They need to be in the space. James, be quiet. He's in there chatting. But come to find out, my teacher giving me the feedback of, hey, they really like to play these PC games. They really need to be in this space. I didn't know that, and they're participating in these local mini tournaments, and it's working, and you don't have to really put anything together. So the possibilities are there. It wasn't a heavy lift now, and I'm just hearing it from their perspective. I'm just making sure that people are where they're supposed to be. That's my job. But the pandemic really, I think, taught us a lot about the possibilities of what could happen. Kevin decided he's gonna leave. Bye, Kevin.
Cool. He said, well, final thoughts, not me.
His device, on my end, it says his device is not connected, but he should pop on in a minute. So I'm gonna wait till he's officially on to say final thoughts. There he goes. All right, you said I'm out. You didn't want, did you? But at least he
touch little blinky lights on your screen when they pop up. Little talking duck in StreamYard. Next thing you know, it's like, hey, come over here and set up an account. That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to respond in chat, but that's okay. I guess I'm not allowed to. Probably better for all of us anyway.
Oh,
Wow.
dang.
Look
Oh,
who
dang.
decided to come in.
Oh, just to
Isn't
close
it
it
time-
out,
isn't
close
it
it
time to
out the
shut down
right
the show?
way. Yeah.
No, because I'm in trouble because
You cannot be.
because
You
I did.
cannot be.
He's
I
got
didn't know you could access this through your phone. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
You sound like a different person.
Because I'm in a bathroom right now. I'm at a dinner.
Ew.
No, I'm at a dinner. I just wanted to say that when I could check things out, everything was great. Love you guys. Miss you guys. Bradford, you did great even with the technical issues. Don't think I didn't see.
Wow.
I know.
Let
I
me
know you.
just high
I know you-
welcome clock you for that. Continue. Yeah. More of this next week.
All right, I'll leave you guys to finish up the show. Love you guys.
Bye.
Mwah.
Yeah. He's gonna, and he will do his clips. Trust me.
You'll get a call. You'll
I will get a
from
call.
Ryan. That's
I'll get a
right.
call.
Right
I'll
on.
get a call. I'll get a call from my brother.
It's like the producer at NBC. What were you thinking? Who let him on the air?
Mhm.
Jay
Do you
Jonah
see
Jameson.
Sam in chat? What a way to end the podcast. He flushes.
I was like, ew. We have people leaving. We have people that click on the deck. We have people in the bathroom.
In and out.
See
My
that?
mic's not working.
Okay, there's no final thought. Final thought is wipe, right?
Well, I did warn people. You never know what you're gonna get when I run it.
You're
Now he's
good.
gonna tell. Now he's gonna tell all his friends. This is the last time Bradford's gonna run my chat. Just kidding. Well, it is 1 minute past the hour, so I will give final thoughts. I'm gonna give final thoughts to the lady of the room first.
Ooh. My final thoughts are think about how you can create something, even if it's small, to get your kids to connect to school. Either maybe not over summer, because I agree, federally mandated break for July, but at least in August, when we all come back to school, I think it's going to be a whirlwind for everyone, teachers and students, and, you know, provide opportunities for that fun, both for the kids, but also for yourself. I think that this year has really beat us down as educators and students and admin and whoever, anyone who is in parents too. So figuring out how you can create, even if it's a Tetris tournament, even if it's a Mario Kart tournament, even if it's board games in your classroom, make space for gaming and community during the first week of school. And the kids will love you forever.
All right, Kevin.
Elephant in the room time. Nasef, still here, still living. Jarrell, over there, still here. Not been sold to another team. Not bought out and sent to Siberia. So you have questions. We have answers. We are the faces, well, that you know and that you love over there. So come and get your truth. Let us help you. Again, you're everybody's mighty. We can help capacitize and get you where you want to go.
Is that facts? Facts.
I only deal in facts. You can't see my ears for the long hair. I'm about as Vulcan as a human gets. I only speak truth.
Jarrell.
You know, just with everything that's going on, I lean back into community and what you said, Bradford, purpose, because I think we all share the same purpose and mission, vision, and we're trying to do good things. You know, don't get caught up in all the tiny little things.
The hysteria.
Let's focus on this bigger mission that we're all trying to do and continue supporting each other like we always have, because that's really what it's all about, is that community. And we're building community, we're building culture. Let's bring it back to that.
And my final thoughts, well, before my network crashes, I mean, I'm echoing what everybody is saying here. It's just, you know what? Stay true to yourself. Stay true to your vision. Stay true to your goals. The companies will come and go, but you as an educator are still standing with your students. And it doesn't matter what the companies believe in and what they decide to do. It all matters what you decide you are going to do for you and your students and for yourself. Have a mission and vision for yourself as an educator. What is your mission and what is your vision? I'm gonna leave that with that. Next year,
do you?
Next year, see, before my network goes down, don't do no one word. Don't do a find your why. Do your own mission and vision. Don't do that one word why stuff. What is your own mission and what is your own vision? And that's how you go into the fall next year. And that's where I would drop the mic.
Hey.
Dang it! I don't have my karaoke mics in my classroom. I would have dropped it for you.
And I'm gonna buy one of those. I promise you. I need one of those.
Yeah, got it from that indie shop, Amazon Prime. 2-day shipping.
All right, guys. Everybody in the social media universe, have an awesome night. Be blessed. See you next week.
See y'all again.
Later, y'all.